who do you want to be when you're 50? Right? If you're 50, who do you want to be when you're 55? And become that person now. Start that process now, and then you will get there.
Brokers are sharp, and they have a lot to say. This is Brokers and Cars Getting Coffee.
Jay, it's Reed. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning. How you doing?
It's a great day.
You up for something hot to drink and have a visit?
Absolutely.
What are you drinking this morning?
I'm drinking a little English breakfast tea. I'm a tea drinker, not a coffee drinker.
You're a tea drinker. Where does that come from?
It's got a lot to do with my mom. My mom's a tea drinker, and we'd sit up late at night, drink tea, and play cards.
You started your company on Y2K. Dude, what were you thinking?
Great question. What was I thinking? I almost wasn't thinking. It's sort of like I got my license. Other people were kind of teaching me how to do insurance, and I really loved helping people. And all of a sudden I think, Julie, we can do this. I can quit my job and I can build a business.
So what's your advice for somebody who wants to start a company?
Don't have paralysis of analysis. If you sit around waiting for all of the answers to your questions, you will never do it. We waited tables for 2 years, 6, 7 nights a week, tended bar on weekends. So my advice for folks is, you gotta work. You gotta work your way out of it. Don't be afraid to work a night job or weekends. Do what you have to do to take care of your family, to then build your dream. Because 2, 3 years later, you'll look back on that and you'll be, wow, we actually did this.
It's so true. You don't just overnight turn into an entrepreneur.
No.
You've coached sports, plus you coach your employees. What are the crossovers?
Well, what comes to mind is control your controllables. I can't control the carriers and how they set policy. I can control my attitude. I can control my approach. I can control how I approach my clients. I can control how much I care and call back the employees or the business owners to find them solutions. But I can't control legislative issues. I go to Capitol Hill a couple times a year. I try to, but whatever the law is, we've got to play by the law. So there's certain things I can't control. And in coaching, my 3 oldest daughters were very, very competitive travel softball players, traveling up and down the East Coast. And when I was coaching that sport, it would be really, really hot. And girls would be like, Dad or Coach Booth, I don't want to play. It's too hot. It's like, wait a minute, time out. The other team is playing under the same sun, right? We can't control how hot it is. So get a drink, get the towels. We got ice in the cooler. We're gonna overcome this, and we're gonna win this ball game. So control your controllables is something I do on the business and the personal side.
So it's 2021. We're still in the coronavirus time. What are your clients needing from you this year that's different?
So controlling your controllables around COVID. Much like my softball story, everyone plays under the same sun. Everyone's playing under the same COVID rules.
Right.
My clients, I think, need more transparency. We need to understand how employee benefits policies are built and managed.
What's your opinion of the transparency laws that were just recently passed?
The answer is we don't know. Being part of NAHU and the legislative team off and on for 20 years, we know when laws are written by our elected officials, we don't always know how they're going to play out in the market. I love the concept of the law. I love transparency where hospitals, they must be able to provide certain data. But when you think about it, the consumer, how does a consumer seek that data? How easy is it going to be to say, I'm going to get an MRI or I'm going to have a knee surgery? What is my cost? Unfortunately, the consumers, they barely even know what insurance policy they're on or what their co-pays or deductibles are, and now we're asking them to understand transparency and where to get that information.
Why should brokers attend NAHU's Capital Conference?
Is this a job or a career, right? I mean, let's just start there. If you're in this business and you're doing employee benefits and life insurance and long-term care insurance, you need to know. You should be really, really involved in understanding what legislation issues are coming and how that's going to affect your clients and your employees.
One of the other lessons you talk about is that it's important to set the right expectations for clients, right?
I got a really short and funny story. Many years ago, we were going to put a pool in the backyard, and the pool salesman shows up and he pulls in his Corvette. He's got 2 briefcases. He knocks on the front door, and my daughter looks at him and looks down and sees the briefcase and looks back up at him, and she leans into the gentleman and she says, "Did you bring the pool?" And Jenna, no, he did not bring the pool. Makes me think from a business standpoint, do we set the right expectations for our clients? When I go see a group, and am I setting the right expectations of the timeline, how we're going to control claims, what the impact on the savings is going to be? It doesn't happen overnight. Am I setting the right expectations, and are we managing that process correctly?
Well, Jay, that is a beautiful place for us to end our conversation today. I love it. Thanks so much. And thanks for hanging out with us today.
All right. Thanks, Reed. Good seeing you. Talk soon.
What was your first car growing up?
Well, we didn't grow up with a lot of money, so as they say in Boston, my first car was a Vita. And so every now and then, and maybe you guys caught it in this conversation, I'll start to get excited and I'll raise my voice and I'll use my hands, and my accent might come out a little bit like my Dada or Boston Market, my partner. All of a sudden that comes out. What people don't know is I'm actually living Tom Brady's worst case nightmare. When he wasn't getting drafted in the earlier rounds and he's sitting around wondering in his head what's going on, he made a comment about, I am going to have to sell insurance for the rest of my life because he wasn't going to get drafted. And here I am selling insurance the rest of my life, living Tom Brady's worst nightmare and loving it.